This is the Voices of Indy podcast, hosted by Josh Gillespie. Voices of Indy is a show dedicated to giving you the opportunity to know the musical, visual, and theatrical arts of Indianapolis, Indiana. This week's guests are Kenny Dunn and Alyssa Hayes of Indianapolis Independent Entertainment. And guys, I don't know if I want to go ahead and get to the sponsorship ad right now. I feel like everyone knows already. We got a partnership going.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be working with you guys.
Us too.
Very much.
First of all, tell me a little bit about yourselves and what was the impetus to starting IIE?
Yeah.
So, Kenny, we'll start with you.
Absolutely. So, I've been a musician since I was 12, maybe. So I started playing drums, got into lots of music. My dad's side's in music, and I really didn't get serious with it until after college. I started getting right back into music and realizing that it's something I need to do all the time. Creative tension would build up. I would get mad when I see a local band doing something I could do.
Sure.
You know, that tension of this is wrong. You shouldn't be jealous of people pursuing their dreams. You just need to pursue yours.
Yeah.
But what I found is I ran into lots of roadblocks, just not knowing who to contact, not knowing how to even put my music on streaming, not knowing how to build a business around it. And I was like, why isn't there somebody out there coaching people or helping them grow? And so I kind of was toying with the idea of doing a record label or something like that. And then I met with Alyssa at a random record swap party.
Mm-hmm.
And we already worked together and did some events together and stuff, volunteering. And I was like, I'm thinking of starting a record label. You'd be interested in partnering with me? Because personally, my musician friends, I would never start a business with them.
No one wants to get into a business with a musician. Let's be honest. No one wants that.
So I was like, Alyssa, what do you think about this? And we basically started talking. The more that we talked, we were like, this isn't a record label. This is something else. This is something more. Let's grow Indianapolis's music and art scene to create more creative jobs too. Because I'm in school for music, and looking online, there's hardly any around Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And if they are there, you got to know somebody that knows somebody, all these kinds of things. So the more that we talked, we thought, this is a gap in the market. This is something that not only would make us feel good as helping people, but also helping the businesses, the small businesses. We love local businesses, local venues, and we really just want to help grow that culture here. So there's more opportunity for creative types. And that's kind of how the brainchild started. It was a record label that I pitched to Alyssa, and Alyssa said, hey, we could do something different, and set ourselves apart and not just be, record label taking money and, just making money off of your hard work. Basically, we're going to help you grow into that kind of thing.
Yeah. Alyssa, give me a little bit of your story.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's exactly what kind of he said, but I am not musical, unless you count sixth grade trombone.
I'm going to count it. I'm going to count it.
I couldn't play anything if you had a trombone in the closet right now, but, it might sound okay. But yeah, no, I just grew up always listening to music. My parents were very big influences, and what I really like some of my earliest memories is driving down to Brown County and our old school Chevy Astro van with the Alanis Morissette cassette tape, on the way down to Brown County. I remember that. My mom and my sister and I, we did that. It was awesome.
Jagged Little Pill?
That's what I was going to ask.
It was. It absolutely was.
That is still, to this day, a banger of an album.
Yeah,
seriously.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and my mom had it on cassette tape, and that's what we listened to. But we always had the radio on. WTTS is still playing all day in my house, as an adult.
Yeah.
So
they appreciate that.
Oh, I think so. I love them, Yeah, so Kenny, we worked together, and he approached me with this idea of a record label, and I was like, Kenny, I don't know anything about a record label. I'm not musically inclined. I don't have that music background, but I come from a nonprofit background where it is grassroots, building, from the ground up, really. And I was like, well, if this is something you want to do, I'm passionate about music. I live downtown. Any show, any free show or whatever, maybe there's something awesome at the Hi-Fi Annex. Let's go do that, And I think really having the opportunity to be part of that scene and to grow the music scene in Indianapolis and really put that community feel behind it as well. I think it was, like Kenny said, something that we both are very passionate about and just kind of wanted to get into. And we saw kind of this market where it's like, well, why not? Let's try it. So that's kind of where we are now, you know, and it's really been an awesome ride in the last couple months since he approached me of a record label, and now here we are, like a couple months later. It's kind of a completely different idea, but something that's grown organically and that I really value, and I think hopefully people will value as well and see that there's space for everyone who wants to be involved.
Sure.
So.
What's the response been like? I mean, yeah, because you guys are young. I mean, this is like circa what, May, June?
Well, we officially became a business February 18th.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been going on all year then.
Yeah.
All right.
We started, like, the idea came around like October of last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, like, he had a baby. He has a new baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So then it's like, all right, let's put this on pause for a second. And then, you know, like, February kind of came about, and we're like, all right, let's do this. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, we met at a local spot, filled out all the forms, and then we were in business.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just like that.
One of the few things that it's easy to do in Indiana.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the easiest places to create a small business. But yeah, it's slowly going. I wouldn't say slowly. It's really starting to pick up now. People are starting to recognize that we're not just any organization that's trying to fit you into a box. We're more customizable. We don't want to, you know, cable TV. They're going to give you every channel that you're never going to watch, and you only want one. We are more like an a la carte thing. So, like, some people can come to us and say, "Hey, we just need help with social media marketing." We'll make a plan for that, you know. Or somebody's like, "I just want to, you know, get my art out there. I want to distribute it. We'll help you with that." You know, like, we're not going to just force things on people that they're not going to have any need for.
Yeah.
And me being an artist, and Alyssa loving music, we never want to be a burden to any of the artists or any person that is involved with us. We want to be an add-on, and more or less, if you don't need us, then we're happy to, you know, you go and pursue your dreams elsewhere. But if you do, we're happy to help and would love to support any artist that's trying to make something of themselves in Indiana.
Now, you also do have a band.
Yes.
Vanta Black.
That's right.
So there is a little bit of a, like, you know, I'm doing this to help my band as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your band.
Yeah, so Vanta Black, it was originally created in 2018. We started out as an acoustic duo.
Which is interesting. If anybody has heard their debut album, to know that you guys started out as an acoustic duo is a little wild.
Yeah, it's. I like to tell people that too, because it sounds nothing like that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't. The only things that we really took from the acousticness of it was the songwriting, basically. A lot of the songwriting came from the acoustic, just sitting in a room and camping chairs.
Yeah.
But like, so Vanta Black, we more or less, we were just having fun, right? And then I'm a huge into Ableton, and I've been using that DAW for 10 years now, I think. But I was like, well, I've got all these recordings and I like to mess around with things. So I just started cutting them up and adding synths and drum machines. And then my bandmate was like, oh, I love that. And it's like, let's do that. Next thing you know, like, it's a complete, just like, synths everywhere, drum machines, random noises, like, but we still kind of held on to some of that songwriting feel to it.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was a big part of this, is because I didn't really understand how to distribute. I didn't understand how to get shows in Indianapolis. So, like, after beating my head against the wall, I was like, I would love it if a company like ours existed. Just because I could be around other people trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we can help each other just by promoting each other. Like, there's no reason that one band shouldn't be... It's not a competition. Art should never be a competition, in my opinion.
I agree.
So, like, if you do art, I'm all for it. I don't care what it is. You can just dance around a circle, and that's important to you. It's important to me.
No, that's what I appreciate. I mean, you know, I think the one thing that people may get from this podcast, I talk a lot about how this is about the visual arts and the theatrical arts, and hasn't really gotten into it as much as I had hoped.
Right.
But you played your strengths up front. And my strength has been music, and your strength has been music. But you're not just limiting yourself to musicians.
Correct.
So
yeah, just like you said, not just limiting to musicians. Any type of medium for art is, we want to work with you. I feel the more variety that we have will only attract more people to Indianapolis and Indiana. And that's really the goal, is just to keep people here making their art, turn it into a business so they can support themselves. And that's where our hashtag or what is it? What do you call those? Like mission statement? Tagline.
You know?
Tagline. It's not a mission statement, but yeah, tagline is redefine making it, because everybody thinks that you gotta get a signed by like Capitol Records and or somewhere else in New York or California. It's like, why is this way? Why can't we do it differently? So that's why we're like, let's redefine what making it means.
yeah. I remember when we first met, and I was at Square Cat.
Yeah.
And you used that phrase, and I really liked it, because that really kind of fed into what I believe what making it is, because it helps you define for yourself what making it actually is.
Agreed.
Because, yeah, you don't have to make it. Not a lot of artists want to be those, $1 million record selling album or artists, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If you just want to find, like me, I would just love to find my little crew and play for my crew. Like, I have my tribe. That's it. That's who I'm playing for. And
absolutely.
to me, that would be making it.
Yeah, I think 100%. Like, if you feel fulfilled in how you are presenting your art or music or, whatever sort of like medium we were talking about, like if that for you makes you fulfilled, then that's awesome. And I think that should be celebrated and recognized and like shared in the community if that's what you want to do. But it ultimately, like our stance is like, it's up to the artists, and you tell us how we can help you. Is it connecting in this network, or is it, us helping you with social media, kind of what Kenny was saying earlier. Like that's basically what our goal is. Like if you feel fulfilled, then we do too. And then we succeeded, and then we made it. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's one thing, and we're going to get to this for those who, that this, if you can't hear it, or there, you definitely heard it then. This is the advertisement that I'll be reading later. But one thing that I want to get into this, which, I might as well read this.
Yeah, go for it.
I might as well read this now because I want to talk about it.
Let's talk
with
about
you.
it.
So today's live stream is sponsored by Indianapolis Independent Entertainment, Kenny and Alyssa. IIE LLC's goal is to help grow local DIY artists, freelancers, and businesses within Indianapolis and generate more paying creative opportunities. Their mission is simple: to establish a network of creatives who excel in the areas of need and connecting them with other network members. This way, they can help to expand the local art and music scenes. IIE believes that by eliminating some of the intimidating barriers within the entertainment industry, more opportunities will be produced for local freelancers and businesses. This will help Indianapolis become the place to go for art and music in the Midwest. If you're interested in learning more, go to their website, www.indyent.com. That's INDYINDIEENT.com. And fill out a free application to discuss how IIE and you can redefine making it together. There it is.
There it is.
Redefine making it together. So one thing that we have in here, and this is something that we discussed the first time that we met, when I felt like I went into that meeting wanting to interview you guys.
Right.
Like, okay, is this legit?
We get a lot of that.
Yeah. We really do.
No, I get it. It's the freelancers.
Yeah.
So, and that was one aspect that really intrigued me, was the concept of incorporating freelance work. So, and the way that you described it is that, you can be a musician, but if you also happen to be in, carpentry and can make a cabinet, you work within the network. And so tell me more about how freelancers can get involved. Are you looking for freelancers who are artists? Or can it be any kind of freelance, even if they're not artists?
Yeah, that's a good question. So any kind of freelancer. So what people don't understand, I think, and I think they disassociate certain crafts, not specifically for art, And there's so many things, like a carpenter's a great example. Like, you can make art with carpentry, absolutely. But you can also design stages. You can design light boxes, signs, all different kinds of things that every good musician wants on their stage to, and, have people know their name, like all these different cool things. But what really started that is the fact that a lot of my friends that are musicians or artists are also got these skills to freelance because they taught themselves these things. And that's why we want to work with DIY bands. Not just because I started a DIY band, but because, like, a lot of DIY bands, they're freelancers too. And so my thought is that, or our thought is that if we are creating more opportunities for these freelancers and these creatives, it's not only going to boost our economy here in Indianapolis for creatives, it's also going to just make better art in the end, because some of these artists don't know that this person does that and this person does that and all these different things. And what we're doing is bridging that gap. And so the freelancers are making money, the artists are making money, and everybody's improving together. And then small businesses fit in that very, very well as well.
Yeah.
But they, so, like, we've got to have places to play, right? And there's some businesses like, I don't know how to put on a show, or I don't know how to get a musician in here. Or do they even want music here? Or do they want some, like, artist painting something? Or, all those different things that can promote their business. And I think that's why everything fits together so well, is because you can do all three at the same time. There's no reason that a freelancer can't just be doing photography during a show, and then he gets up on stage and plays something or draws something, or creates his own art. More or less is getting it out there, because nobody knows unless they're best friends with that guy or that girl. Plus there's just so many things that you don't think about until you start forming your business that you need. You need marketing, you need contracts in some cases, you need clothing design. I mean, that, like, costumes. Some people like to have costumes when they perform.
Sure, yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So, like, it's all interlinked in the same common goal, is that everybody's from Indianapolis and Indiana, because we want to keep those people here so they can help us grow this city.
I think that's key to what you guys are working on, is wanting to keep people in Indianapolis.
Yep.
And I think that's something that we've all lamented at one point or another in conversations that we've had, either together or with other people, that it's people, once they start, getting hot here in Indianapolis, they take off.
Exactly.
And they forget that they were even part of the city.
Yeah.
And we don't want that.
Right.
We want people to, even if they do happen to leave, they still leave Indy proud.
Right.
Like, they will go on stage and go on tour, and they'll put on their shirts, Indianapolis, Indiana, like the Black Keys put Dayton, Ohio.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
On theirs. Or Akron. I forget.
Yeah,
I think it might be Akron.
I think it's Akron.
I was at that show a couple weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure
it's Akron. Yeah.
Don't quote me, though.
No, it is. It is. I haven't seen them since, has it been like 10 years now?
It was a long time. And let me tell you, that was a good show.
It was
awesome.
Yeah, so that kind of plays into it, too, because if you think about it, even national acts, they kind of skip us sometimes. Some of my favorite bands, I won't say they're super well known in most crowds, because I like to listen to some abstract stuff and some heavy metal, but that's a big indicator that they don't see the value in coming here for some reason. And it may be the fact that we're not known for this, right? So we're known for other things, like corn.
And racing. And basketball.
Yeah.
Two things that I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. But that's like exactly what we want. We want people to grow with us, grow in Indianapolis, change the city for the better. People are already doing it, but nobody's unified everyone. Everybody's fighting their own battles, and we're just want to help everyone get together and use all of our strengths to complete our mission, in keeping people here, generating more jobs, all those kinds of things.
So tell me a little bit about some of the artists that you currently do have.
Okay. Yeah, we've got Josh here.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have to start with me. Yes, but I am an IIE member I am on the list.
Huxley has joined us. They are a pop punk band. And the reason I love this band is because they were the first one to reach out to me when I was trying to find shows. And they literally were like, hey, if you just contact this guy, we could probably get you on before us. And I had never met these people in my entire life. And that was part of like, why are people so hesitant to do that? Why is that so special to me? Like, people should always be doing that.
Exactly.
And so like Huxley, they're full on board. They're fantastic. If you like pop punk, you'll like Huxley. And then we've got, we've got Vanto Black, of course. They had no choice.
Fine. Yeah. Twist their arm.
We've got
Ian Mast.
Yeah. Ian Mast Music. Young guy. Super talented. Just to give him some cred, like he can do Ableton training, DAW training. He can do videography, video editing.
Go into that freelancing aspect.
It's like he literally was he did everything for our album release show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sponsored through IIE. And so he did the video, he did all the editing, the promos, flyers, all that stuff. But he's also a very talented musician. So his instrument of choice is very original too. He plays a Malacat, which is basically like a MIDI xylophone.
Oh.
Yeah, so like he can change everything on it like you would in a MIDI. You can program it to do whatever you want. You can have guitar on this side and bass on the other if you want.
Oh, sure.
But he's really good at it. He came from a drum background and he really got into electronics, and he's probably one of the most versatile artists that we have as well.
Oh, now I'm very interested.
Yeah, he goes for more of a synth pop feel, but
sure.
He does make some really cool stuff for sure.
It reminds me of a guy I saw a few years ago. Actually, I have the poster right over there. Tall Trees. It's a guy on a banjo.
Oh, nice.
But what he does is he's attached so many MIDI layers to that banjo that he can make it sound like anything, including a pipe organ.
Right.
Like a massive pipe organ. And he did that at the show. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he'll bring it right back down and it'll sound like a banjo.
Yep.
And I mean, cool. It was amazingly cool. So that's kind of how I imagine what he's doing.
Yeah. So a lot of the artists that are coming out today, you would think they're a full band, but they're more or less just programming things and doing backing tracks, and because more or less it's cheaper for one person to tour or perform and all these different things. But the cool thing is that it really spreads the musical diversity when you do those things, because they're experimenting with all these different kinds of sounds, different kinds of instruments, and so we love that. And like the more diverse we can get IIE, the better, because it's just going to create so many more places that people are willing to bring in artists, right? Like they're like, well, I don't want just rock or country. I want something like ambient or easily listening. And we're like, all right, we look through our network, we got you. We've got a guy that'll do that, or a girl. It's just, I love abstract art too. So the more abstract, I just want to understand from the artist too. It's
sure.
Like, what are you going for here?
Well, and you guys have big plans too. Like I've heard you talking about wanting to do a festival here in a couple of years, and imagining putting something like that together with all these different artists from all different genres, and it's really just kind of a really eclectic kind of
Not only that, but we want to use local freelancers to do a lot of the stuff.
Right.
We want the freelancers to do the flyers. We want them to do the
merchandise, or even like a local MC. We were kind of talking about diversity and kind of to tangent real quick. 2 other artists that we're also working with. Stephen Vincent Giles is a local comedian.
Yes, I wanted to talk about him.
Amazing. Does lots of local shows. Will headline at local comedy clubs. He's one of our newest members as well. And then merchandise, like we were talking about, which would be amazing for the ultimate goal of doing a festival somewhere here local. We used Ben Sutton from BS Limited to do our very first IIE shirts.
Very cool.
He does like tie-dye and bleach dyeing of shirts.
Nice.
And they're amazing. So like using local artists and local vendors to do just pretty much everything.
Yeah, food, you name it. Like
food trucks.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And one thing Indianapolis was really kind of putting their mark on is in the food truck area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and breweries too.
Oh yes.
Yeah, tons of breweries now. And all these different places, like, we're just an add-on, like, we'll bring you music, we'll bring you art, and then you're going to get more diverse people coming in and stick around for what you're selling, kind of deal. But yeah, it's exciting because I like the idea of basically working with the entire community to create a festival versus we're some national thing that hops from city to city, and we're pulling these big corporations to fill the labor and all this different things.
Yeah.
There's I think it's 317 show, not 317 shows, but they supply labor for stage creation or building the stages, the labor to do all that stuff. There's plenty of businesses in Indianapolis that are small businesses that we could do a festival with.
Yeah, or even working with volunteers as well. Like, that's another aspect of our community thought that we wanted to put into this. Really making sure that if people want to volunteer, if there's students at wherever, who want to start looking at how do you get into the music and art scene, or I would love to partner with them and have like a whole volunteer community base. And one thing that we haven't mentioned yet is once we start doing some shows and sponsoring some shows, we're going to partner with community nonprofits. So
very cool.
The artists can choose, which nonprofit they'd like to donate to. So it would be on behalf of artists by Indianapolis Independent Entertainment, but some of those proceeds would go back into the community.
Yeah.
So we're all just kind of like helping each other, which
that's
I feel
fantastic.
Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is a very
we came into this thinking like, what is record companies, what's their bad name? They seem greedy.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
They're greedy.
Yeah.
And so like that's the opposite of what we want. We don't we're not necessarily profit driven. I mean, we do need to make a profit to keep the lights on.
No, sure.
Right? But we're not.
So do non-profits.
Right. Oh, yes.
We are here for the long haul. We're not going to be burning bridges, trying to make an easy buck, those kinds of things. We want to be a lasting pillar in the community because we believe in this community and we are here for a reason. I could have moved out of Indiana anytime I wanted to, but I like it here. It's a good city to get around. There is great art around everywhere. Just I feel like we can do better. We can get more art, and I think that's any artist or creative want.
Sure. Has there and I know that you guys are still kind of building everything out, but has there been any interaction or contact with the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce and what they've been doing in trying to the project that they were working on prior to the pandemic? And sort of through the pandemic on getting to know the Indianapolis music scene. They were primarily focusing on the music scene.
No, and that isn't something we've done yet, but we definitely would love to meet with them. We're also looking at meeting with some of the other art societies in different places. As we keep building and networking with people, I'm noticing there's a lot of different art co-ops and these things that honestly they probably know a lot more than we do, and so we can lend our support to them. They can partner with us, and then we can work together to get more art in places and venues. Because what I love to do is when I go to a show and I see all these vendors there, they're from Indianapolis, they're either selling stuff they made or they've got something cool that it's new to Indianapolis, and like that is part of the fun of going to shows. It's not just watching the band, but it's also meeting the people that are watching the band, and it's meeting the people that are supporting the band. And that whole thing right there is just something that I don't think some people value as much as they should, because in the world we live in now, it's like we've got these giant corporations everywhere, kind of taking all the small guys out of the picture. And we want to be the opposite. We want to bring more small people into the picture. Because ideally, what I would like is like instead of I'm going to a chain or a chain like grocery stores, I'm going to some local grocer. Because my money's going to somebody that's supporting their family or doing something they like to do, right? So like it all fits together really well that way.
That's awesome. I mean, what you guys are working on is very holistic to the community.
Yeah,
which I think is something that is needed right now,
Yeah.
especially within Indianapolis. It seems like right now, like everything seems to be kind of within its own little clique.
Yes, that's exactly.
And I think I'm not entirely sure what the chamber may have been trying to do, but I think they were just trying to understand that more. But if we could, get people from the different genres just to kind of be like, check out, well, the different genres,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's something that IIE can help facilitate, especially as you grow your artist base, that you're able to diversify that, and it starts to weave its way into the communities.
Yeah. Yeah, I want it to be like, somebody's like, my son's looking to, start playing music. And he's like, he doesn't know what to do or whatever. Literally just hop on our website and he'll contact us and we'll meet with them and walk through it. And the reason that's important to me is because I know people that have gone and been like, they're really into music. They want to learn how to play it. And they might even have some natural talent to it. But then they hit a roadblock and they're like, well, I guess it's not for me, because they don't know how easy it is to get over that roadblock because they don't know what they don't know. So that's where we step in and get that person across the finish line so we don't lose another person or creative job.
Sure.
To just ignorance, I guess, not knowing what's possible.
So when we're looking at IIE and what you guys are looking to accomplish here within let's say the next year, first of all, what is, if we're looking at calendar year 2023,
Yeah,
we get that right. Calendar year 2023, what does that year look like? Because, I mean, we're in August, but that doesn't mean that, things are starting to run out of time in terms of what you want to get accomplished. So you start looking to make plans towards next year.
Right.
So what are some goals that you guys have for next year that could really energize and get people who may be listening to this wanting to know more about you interested in what you are wanting to accomplish?
Yeah. I think we would love to continue to grow our network, and we'd love to have those conversations and communicate with just, more artists of all different genres, long term for calendar year 23, which is nuts that it's coming up.
It
so
is.
fast.
It really is, actually.
Yeah, we're looking at doing a biking tour of different art places or different venues around Indianapolis, mostly downtown, just because it's going to be on bicycles. So
Yes.
we want to make sure everyone's safe. And we're going through safe routes and everything, and segregated bike lanes, or Alabama, that's a actual greenway.
Yes.
So what we're looking to do for that, and still it's in its infancy, but we're looking at kind of showcasing different artists, different musicians around downtown Indianapolis, and it's going to kind of be like a choose your own adventure.
Fine.
Yeah, kind of have an itinerary of where we'll be,
this time.
who's playing at this time, what exhibits going on at this place at this time. Family friendly for the most part, unless we go to a brewery that
Sure.
might not be family friendly. But that's going to be something that we very clearly spell out and have a set itinerary and a suggested route for if you're on your bike with your family or whatever. Just go this route. This is a segregated bike lane, or again, choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
But that's something long term that we're looking. Well, I guess not long term because it's next year.
Yeah. Okay, so your short term goals.
Short term. September of 2023 is when we're looking at doing that. So
excellent.
Yeah. So that again, it's in its infancy, but that's kind of one of our projects that we're working on right now. But in the meantime, definitely looking at growing our network and meeting with all different types of artists who would be interested in working with us.
Yeah, so what we're doing now is basically networking with venues, networking with artists of every type of medium. And then we want to establish IIE is sponsoring this day at this venue. We have IIE performers. We'll always probably try and bring a small business with us. And the great thing is that when you're in our network, you don't even have to be at the show necessarily, but if you're an IIE member, there's no reason you can't have your merch on our table. We'll sell it for you, get you the cost or the cash and all that. But what I'm trying to do specifically is have an event at least once a month And what's important to me too is the type of events that are just not a show, like artists perform and that's it. More or less, I want to do things that, like, an example would be ambient yoga. So I want to have we have a good friend is joining our network, and she's going to be she's a certified yoga instructor, so she knows exactly how to teach people yoga.
Sure.
But what's great is one thing you notice when you're doing yoga is that real soft and calm Brian Eno type music.
Yeah.
There's tons of artists and DJs, electronic artists that can do that, myself included. Like, so we'll just invite a different electronic artist or DJ to every one of those. And then people can also, relax, enjoy yoga, but then also get to know another artist.
Yeah.
So I want to do more events like that where you're like, oh, I didn't think you could put music to this,
Yeah.
So another one would be like a gaming tournament, you have two people playing Mortal Kombat on stage, and then you have people making the backing tracks too. It would be fun.
That sounds like a great opportunity for metal bands.
Yeah. But no, I want to do events like that so people stop thinking like you just have to have someone perform on a stage. You can do lots of things together.
Really thinking outside the box here with this.
Yeah, they just sound so much more fun to me, like to bring people from different, because there is a big arcade community out there. I only know this because I have a couple friends that are into arcades. And I guarantee they would love it, that they would be up there competing for some prize, and then one of their favorite artists is making the music behind it, and
That'd be pretty awesome.
They would adjust it to like how intense it's getting and all that kind of stuff. But those are a couple of them. But that's the idea for me is we perform, or we have an event every month or so, but it's always promoting more than what's just going on at that show.
Sure.
It's promoting other artists that are with us, or we even have the artists with us at the show.
Which we would love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Alyssa and I try to make it to all the different shows around town when we can, but time's limited.
Sure. If you want to know, I'll just say this: if you want to know where IIE is, check out their Instagram feed.
Yep.
Always updating the stories.
Yes.
Always updating the stories.
Yes. We do love Instagram.
This is interesting too, because I'm typically the person behind the camera instead of like in front of the camera. So I'm like, okay, I had to how to figure that one out here.
Sure. No, you're doing just fine.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we're basically just trying to create a space for everyone. Everyone's included, everyone's invited. Like, if you want to, like he was saying earlier, if you want to dance in a circle and that's your art, like, let's do it. Let's team up.
Let's build a whole event around
it. There's a space for everyone, and I think there's space for everyone in Indianapolis, and we want to grow that and build that and just make sure, people are comfortable reaching out and comfortable, like, trying to perform and, like, break down those barriers, of trying to figure out, like, how do I get on stage? How do I start recording something? How do I display this art that I've created? Let's figure that out. Like, we don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I do, because I absolutely don't. But the more that we talk and the more that we get to know people, like, we can figure that out. And that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's why we rely on the community in Indianapolis, is because there are people that are doing things better than we are, and we just want to help with that, and make people aware of it.
Right. But and then with interdisciplinary, like, yoga and, like, or even like the arcade thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have been exposed to a band that's like totally shredding on stage to Mortal Kombat. Like, to me, I feel like that would be awesome, and I'd be like, oh, let me check them out. Like, who is this new band who maybe I wouldn't have looked up before? So I think that
makes sense.
Another thing I want to add too is that a lot of events are centered around the audience, as they should be. That makes sense. If you're going to perform, you want the audience to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I also want to do events where we're getting the IIE members playing together or collabing together.
Yeah, very
So
cool.
I want to do, like, we'll throw different bands in a hat and we pick them out in a song, and then they have to remix that song, or we'll do competitions for artists to redesign our logos and give them a prize. Like,
Oh, wow.
we want people to engage with each other and get something out of it at the end of the day. So if, like, think about it this way, if you're doing a competition for us to create a song about Indianapolis or Irvington, maybe that's the idea.
Sure.
You're building your portfolio at the same time. So you can more of these things you participate in the network, you're just doing more work to better your future for your craft. So I want that to be incorporated as well. It's not just we're throwing events, this traditional way. We want to throw them also for the artists to have fun doing it, doing something different.
Yeah.
And diversifying their art at the same time.
Yeah. That's just, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. I mean, like
that
I would
you
love
guys
to
are
do
doing
that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun doing it, so I hope other people would too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've read the ad, but like, tell people like, what is it like to get a hold of you? I mean, the way I literally stumbled across you guys, it was a recommendation in my Instagram feed, and I was like, all right, I need to build up my feed. So, I followed you guys, and then you followed back. I was like, oh, hey, okay, something. All right, what is this? Okay, and it just kind of went from there. I filled out the form online, but so what is it? You actually have a couple different forms online.
Yeah.
So you have one for musicians, you have one for freelancers, and then my question is, what if you're both?
Okay, yeah, good questions. So we have the two forms, like you said, artist and freelancer. On each of the forums, it does ask if you are also a freelancer or also an artist. You only have to fill out one. And all that form does is just give us your contact information to set up a meeting, kind of give us an idea of what you're interested in. And that way, when we come to the meeting, we can be a little bit more prepared to discuss what you're looking to do. But if you like what you hear at the meeting, you're automatically in the network. We'll put your profile, your contact information, your website, your links, whatever, on the artist page. And if you're also a freelancer, then we also put it on the freelancer side.
Okay.
So that way, if someone's just looking for freelancers, you're still going to be visual. And the nice thing about it is that you can see other people that are on there, and maybe they're doing something that you would want them to do for you, right? So it's not like the freelancers are for people that are just coming and seeing IIE, and it's like, well, I need a freelancer for this. It could be an artist, like I need a freelancer for this. And I give the logo competition example because that's something really what I want to do is trying to get freelancers to either collab and create some new stuff for us, and they get money for it, those kind of different things. But literally, it's free to join the network. There's no cost associated, no cost for the application. Eventually, we are going to have a tiered subscription, and with that will just bring more benefits. It just adds on to the original free one. But the free one still gives you access to all the people in the network, gives it access to us. You can still set up meetings with us to kind of go over your plan of what you want to do. But it's very simple. You just have to fill it out, and we will contact you via email and set up a time to meet.
Awesome. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, super simple. You can reach us on Instagram as well. It's IIE _LLC. And then you can just reach out to us, direct message if you want.
Sure.
And then we can even, go that route.
Yeah, slide into our DMs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And if I may read the end of this one more time. If you are interested in learning more, go to their website, www.indyent.com. That's INDYINDIEENT.com. And fill out a free application to discuss how you and IIE can redefine making it together, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Kenny, Alyssa, thank you both for being on the show this week.
Oh, thank you for having us. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, I am pleased, thrilled, and can't wait to see what comes from this.
Same.
All right.
Yeah, super excited.
All right, we'll see you again. This has been Voices of Indy. I've been Josh Gillespie. Thank you again for being on this week, guys. And we'll have Megan Jefferson. That is our next guest. She is a muralist here in town. Can't wait to have her on. And that'll do it for me.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.